On this episode of What's on Jay's Mind, we're going to discuss the PlayStation 5.
What's on Jay's mind?
Okay, so let's talk about the PlayStation 5 a little bit. We've already talked about the controller, so let's talk about the actual console.
Right. Okay, well, speculation early on was that it was going to be a, the download-only type of...
Yes, but that's always speculation with video games nowadays just because of where we're headed, like the direction we're headed as far as, you know, how we enjoy our entertainment. I mean, look at CDs. They're all but gone.
True.
They're not all gone, but they're all but gone. Surprisingly, DVD and Blu-ray both have not really seemed to kind of slow down with all the streaming services that we have and all the downloadable services and everything. That hasn't really slowed down much. So I'm hoping that we don't get into an all-digital age. We might eventually, and that's a completely different video. But at first, speculation was it's going to be a streaming-only thing.
Right. Or, you know, whatever.
Download or whatever. Right.
Digital
right.
only.
Digital.
Yeah, but Sony actually released the specs last month, March, that show that it's going to have a game disc. So that's no longer speculation. That's going to have a game disc, and it's going to be Ultra HD Blu-ray, which holds up to 100 gigs on the disc itself. Now, that doesn't mean that each game is going to be 100 gigs to install on your system. That just means the disc holds 100 gigs.
But it doesn't mean it's not either. Okay, I'm just because so speaking of gigs, how big is the hard drive, the built-in hard drive that you get out of the box for the PlayStation 5?
It's gonna be near a terabyte, not quite. It says 825 gigabytes is the it's gonna be the disk drive. However, the drive. It's gonna be a solid state drive instead of a hard disk drive, which means it's gonna have no moving parts. It's gonna be basically like flash. Memory where it doesn't have any moving parts. Okay. Which means that it will resist damage by, you know, bumps or drops or whatever, you know. Okay. So,
well, see, my thing with that is, like, when the PlayStation 4 came out, it was out of the box 500 gig hard drive, right? And people were so excited about that. And then you realize that most games are big and you fill up that hard drive very, very fast on a PlayStation. As a matter of fact, I run 2 PlayStations. And when I'm done with a game, when I beat a game, platinum a game, whatever the case may be, I take it off of the hard drive if I'm never going to play it again. You know, a game like Tekken, Injustice, GTA 5, you know, I will keep those on in case I want to play them because, well, then you got to re-download them. But take like Red Dead 2. That was, 120 gigs? Is that right? Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
It was huge. So that takes up a ton of space on your hard drive. And not only that, like, it sounded great, okay, but you got to have a certain amount of space for the updates too.
Yep.
You know, like, I turned on my PlayStation, one of my PlayStations last night, doesn't matter, recently. And it was doing an update for GTA. Well, it was saying not enough space because it has to have the amount of space gig-wise that the update is to be able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes.
Okay, so like if you wanted to put a 100 gig game on a PlayStation 4, you got to have 200 gigs available. So you can't even fill it up. So while this says 825, and that's, oh wow, that's awesome. That's a lot. That you know, we're going into the next generation, which means in theory better sound, better graphics, better everything. How many games are you really going to be able to get on that console? And that's my first question, because what you can get on a PlayStation 3 versus a PlayStation 4, even like a 60 gig and 80 gig is night and day. It's night and day. Like, I've still got games on my PlayStation 3 from 10 years ago.
True. Now, the PS4, though, uses just standard Blu-ray, which I honestly can't remember how many gigs that holds. But since they're having you install it on the hard drive, the install files are a lot smaller than the actual gameplay files. Okay. So, yeah, when you install it on the hard drive, it will allow you to play the game more seamlessly, fewer loading times, loading screens, all that stuff. Now, while they're still there, because a lot of it's being accessed on the game disc, it actually provides smoother gameplay by installing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, whereas the new Ultra HD, whatever, 800, 100 gigs of space on a disk, will actually could potentially mean that the install files will be fewer and not as much.
Potential.
Potentially.
I'm just saying, on a PS4, if you put if you put MLB The Show, if you put Tekken 7, if you put Red Dead 2, and maybe like 3 other games of any significant size, let's say Injustice 2. I know that one was pretty big. God of War 4 even, I think that was, what, 50, 40? I don't want to speak out of turn here, but you can't get very many games on there without having to uninstall, and it's just annoying. I hope that is fixed somewhat, to some degree.
Sure.
To some degree is all I'm saying. Because then what if you take a game off your PlayStation 4 or even 5 for that matter, because it's coming out, and you want to play that game again later on? Well, now you got to reinstall and wait and blah 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 blah. And if you remember Red Dead, it's over 100 gig game. I think like 120, something like that. It took forever for that install. One disc alone was installed, and then you put the other one in. I'm just saying. So, but let's move on.
Okay.
Next point of interest with the PlayStation 5.
Okay, so we touched on the game disc and the hard drive. Now, system memory is supposed to be 16 gigs of RAM, the latest RAM at that, which actually will really, 16 gigs is what they put in a standard server now, nowadays.
Okay.
So, and that in itself means that it can run real time without a problem. So
okay, that's good. I've heard a lot of people complaining. People always compare consoles, and they're saying this versus the Xbox. Was it X Series? Is the name of the Xbox one coming out? I'm not going to get it, so I don't even care. But they're saying, people are always going to compare them, and this sucks, that sucks, you suck, they suck, whatever.
Right.
Like, everything just sucks to everybody. So to me, who doesn't understand crap like that, that basically means what? Like you said, it's just going to be able to run smooth and seamless, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to give people perspective, when like Twitch requires 8 gigs of RAM minimum to be able to stream seamlessly, right? Without any issues, without any lag, all that good stuff. So you're getting double that in just the console alone. So what that means is it will allow you to instantly access the whatever you're doing, whatever the game's doing. It'll read it, respond, and immediately, like essentially. So the more RAM you have, the faster everything runs.
So does that mean in theory, if we're playing GTA 6, we're driving down the road, it's not going, the buildings aren't going to pop up out of nowhere because they're already going to be there waiting on us, basically? Is that
essentially? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, well, I don't understand.
No, that's a good comparison.
Talk, so.
That's a good comparison.
Okay,
yeah, that's
good deal.
Good example. Yeah. It'll pick things up quickly. Like it doesn't matter how fast the gameplay is moving, stuff will appear when it's supposed to.
Excellent. All right, let's go. Next point of topic here.
Of course, is going to have the latest graphics card,
sound card, all that kind of stuff, right? In theory.
Yeah, it's supposed to have 3D audio tech for the audio. The video out is actually, it's going to support 4K.
I'm sorry, right here, PS5, I want to go back to this, PS5 game disc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to support disc play, which is great. Didn't they say they wanted backwards compatibility as well?
Oh, yeah.
Did we touch on that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, we'll get to that in just a second.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, like the video output is going to be 4K, 8K for the 8K TVs, and the latest version of HDMI. Okay. So it's going to have all the latest video out that is available at this point. Even if it's not the norm, or what's the term I'm looking for? The
standard.
Yeah, I guess. Like, it's not what everybody has. Not everybody has a 4K or 8K TV right now, but eventually,
eventually
that's going to be the norm. Just like HD TVs right now are the norm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's going to fully support that immediately. It's not even going to have...
So it's not like it's going to come out and then we're going to get a Pro, which we'll probably get a Pro 3-4 years down the road anyways, but it'll be set up to not only run well and look good on your current 4K TV, but if you get an 8K, it's going to be compatible with that as well and not need anything additional like a brand new console, let's say.
Right.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. I think that's, they're looking out for the consumer at this point.
I mean, I think that's great, and like my thing was, I wasn't going to get a Pro model just to maybe, quote unquote, enjoy gaming a little bit more high def. Because my regular model PS4 looks great on my 4K television. Now I'm one of those guys where it's like, does it really matter? You know what I mean? I don't care. I want to enjoy the game. I want to play the game. I've never been big on like Melvor, huge graphics guy. And I remember back in the day, this game sucks. The graphics look terrible. So that was San Andreas. I'm like, well, first of all, play the game, you moron, because it doesn't suck. But something like San Andreas was so big at the time, and on the hardware it was running on, it was almost too much for it. Like, you really maybe push the limits of the PlayStation 2. But me, I didn't care so much about how it looked, but how it played.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know a lot of people are opposite of me, so that's good for them. But it is nice to know if I do decide to go get an 8K TV eventually in time. Like, I don't even know if they even make 8K TVs right now. I don't keep up. I don't keep up with the latest, greatest in technology unless it's consoles, honestly. So, but it's nice to know when that comes out and 8K comes out, it's going to be able to mesh together seamlessly and work for me without having to buy a Pro or another console to try to make it look just that much better. But, that's me. So that's good. Looking out for the consumer. I like that.
For sure. And another way they're looking out for the consumer, the fans, is that they've backwards compatibility. They're making sure that the PS4 games, the library that's out now, will be playable on the PS5. And they're testing each game individually to make sure that it'll play on the PS5. And if it doesn't play the way it's intended, then they'll send the information to the developers to try and get...
Is there any word on backwards compatibility with PS3 or PS2 or PS1 games?
As of right now, no. I have not come across anything from Sony saying that it's going to be...
okay. Because I know that's a big deal with gamers. Again, it's not with me because I literally have a 3 and 2 hooked up, like right underneath the camera right now. That's not a big deal for me, but I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people don't want the wires and the mess and the cords tangling and all that crap.
Sure.
Would it be nice to be able to play everything on one console, even for someone like me who hangs on to my old ones? Yeah, it would be.
Sure.
It would be. Assuming I could transfer over my save states, my save datas, and all that other kind of stuff, because there's games I put. Well, GTA 5, for instance, I put hundreds, probably over 200 hours into that game, and I definitely wouldn't want to start all over from nothing. So, maybe that's another thing that they need to look into, is can you transfer over your save data from one console to another? Like, I don't know. Has that even been thought of?
Well, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if that's been discussed.
Yeah, I know on the PS3 they had the virtual memory cards for like the PS2 and PS1 games.
Right, but that did you no good for if you had a regular memory card that came with the console back in the day. That did you no good. So I don't know, unless there was a way, and it looks like there might have been on PS2, to take your information from a memory card and put it onto a USB, because there is USB ports.
There is.
Now, I know that those were used for like microphones for like SOCOM. Sorry, not so. Yeah, SOCOM. SOCOM. I was thinking, said SOCOM. I was thinking XCOM. I said XCOM. But anyway, SOCOM. So it was used for that. I never tried it. I always had multiple memory cards. So if I needed to save something, I had plenty of room to be able to do it with. So, but anyways, food for thought on that. And maybe we missed something somewhere and they have talked about that. If they have, put it in the comments for us, please.
Sure.
We don't pretend to know everything.
No.
Well, we do. We don't actually know everything.
we pretend, not actually.
Yeah. So, anything else? Any other talking points on the PlayStation 5 that?
At this point, I mean, that's all they've released is the specs.
The specs
so
on it? Okay.
yeah, anything else as far as design and all that is still up in the air. They haven't fully come to a decision on that.
Right. I know we're a little late getting out on the PlayStation 5 talk, whatever, but please, guys, put your thoughts down below, and if we've missed something at this point, let us know. Hey, we missed it. Correct us. If something that comes out between now and the time this video is uploaded, please share the information, because I'm definitely looking forward to PS5. It will be a day one pickup, assuming that I can get one pre-ordered, and I got contacts, so I should be able to. I got mob ties. Not really, but anyhow, thank you guys. See y'all next time.
All right. No.